The second question I got this week was about buying a vehicle. What's the best way to buy a vehicle after bankruptcy? The best way to buy a vehicle after bankruptcy is clearly cash. If you can save up enough money to buy a car cash, it's much better. Now, is that going to help you rebuild your credit? Obviously not, because you're paying cash, you're not financing it, but it's only going to cost you the value of the vehicle. If you have to finance a vehicle, okay. And if you want to finance a vehicle, even though you're going to pay interest, you're still going to have the ability to rebuild your credit a little bit by financing the vehicle. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your credit reports, see what's on there. Number two, the easiest way to finance a vehicle and to get a better interest rate is to go ahead and see if you can locate a cosigner. Now, trust me, I'm not a big fan of having people cosign debt for you. I'm really not. I don't want to do it. I wouldn't do it for anybody other than my wife. And even she's a little risky at times. But the reality is you don't want a cosigner if you don't have to have one. Now, there are rules on cosigning, in my opinion. When do you want a cosigner? When do you need a cosigner? And if you're going to have a family member, please talk about it with them. We can go into Carmen's rules on cosigning at another date. But I think I wrote a blog on it for recently on the bankruptcy blog, bankruptcy lawyer blog. If you go to our website, www.dulutrelawgroup.com, and look at the blogs, you'll see we have a bankruptcy blog. Go to that bankruptcy blog. I think it was like a couple weeks ago I wrote that blog, or maybe a month ago, on co-signing and the rules I put in place on it, that what you should really consider. But co-signers, if you need a co-signer, that's the best way to get a better interest rate. Unless your co-signer has horrible credit, and then you're really going to get the shaft from the finance company. What you really want to focus here is what's your bottom line. In other words, what's this car going to cost you over the life of the loan? So let's say you go out and you want to finance a car and it's a higher interest rate, let's say 12%. I'm not too worried about that. If the car payment's $250 a month and you could pay, let's say, $275, $300 a month. You don't have to go out and spend the limits of your budget to rebuild credit. You just need to get a loan that you can afford and then pay it off quicker. The faster you pay off that loan, the less interest you're going to pay. It's just that simple. So you really want to look at it. Number two, you want to negotiate with the lender if you already have a high interest loan. Let's say you have a car and you're like, my car's really, it's got a high interest rate. I filed Chapter 7 and now I want to work this one down. Well, we've talked about reaffirmation agreements a lot. Reaffirmation agreements are negotiable. I call for my clients' reaffirmation agreements. I want a lower interest rate. I want to get my client the best deal possible. So if you have a high interest loan on your car and you file bankruptcy and you want to keep it, you definitely want to call. Otherwise, what you want to do is you want to negotiate with the lender. Let's say, for example, you've been banking at Town Hall Bank for many, many years. Your family's been there for years. You want to go to them and say, hey, look, here's my problem. Here's what I did. I filed bankruptcy, and now I need a car loan. Are you guys willing to work with me without a cosigner? Maybe, maybe not. What's the interest rate? What's this going to cost me over the life of the loan? And then you want to negotiate down. And worst case scenario, if you have to lease a car, go ahead and lease it, but I'd rather you didn't. A lot of people like leasing because they get a much nicer car for a smaller payment. But let's face it, folks, if it wasn't in their best interest, leasing wouldn't exist. So leasing exists because it's in the finance company's best interest, period. Unless you have a business that is making oodles and oodles of money, and you really need to throw some money away or take some write-offs to get rid of some money, lease a car. That's the best way to get rid of the money, because it's not a good deal for you. It's not a good deal for your business. But if you have oodles and oodles of money falling out of your pocket, go lease a car. Best thing you could do. But I don't like it for individuals, and let me tell you why. Individuals are going to get burned on a lease. They're designed to hurt you. So if you don't have to lease a car, please don't do it. Hopefully we hit all the points on buying a car. Hopefully I gave you some good ideas, help you out.